I'm sure you know the old biblical story of David and Goliath, a young man with nothing but a sling and a stone, standing alone against a giant. He won the impossible fight and gave hope to everyone watching. I have my own David and Goliath. Mine happened in prison. My Goliath was a man the others called Yeppo. He was dark-skinned, wild, bigger than me, and twice as aggressive. To me, he was a giant. It started when I was 23. Perth police and the major gang crime squad had been tapping my phones and watching my house. One day they smashed down my front door. Officers poured in, guns drawn. I was thrown to the living room floor, cuffed and forced to watch as they tore my place apart. I knew what they'd find. Hidden in my bedside drawer, my life savings, about $34,000. Multiple handguns, 2 or 3 modified hunting rifles, and my favorite, an SKS 7.62mm semi-auto assault rifle. The cops were thrilled. I said nothing. I was hit with over 50 charges. My arrest made the front page of the local paper. It was on the Perth news. That night, I had my first taste of prison. After a medical check, a warden walked me to my cell. Unit 10, Cell 15, my new home. Everything was grey. The floor, the door, the walls, the ceiling. 2 flimsy plastic chairs, a tiny barred window that blocked most of the light. 2 cracked wooden bunks bolted to the wall, one over the other. It felt like hell. My cellmate was already there. I can't remember his name, but he was decent. He gave me the bottom bunk. I took it gratefully, then realized my head would be inches from the toilet we shared. That first night, I curled into a ball on the thin mattress. I pulled the itchy blanket over me. My cellmate smoked and watched TV, saying nothing. I was weak. I held back tears. All I could think about was home and how badly I wanted out. Without thinking, I started punching the underside of the top bunk. 6 times. Maybe 10. The banging was loud. My cellmate didn't say a word. I think he was asleep. I didn't know it, but the man in the next cell heard every hit. His name was Yeppo. The noise kept him up all night. He took it as disrespect. I had no idea about prison rules or etiquette. I wasn't trying to start anything. But Yeppo was already waiting. Next morning, the warden's keys rattled. Our steel door clanged open. I sat up, groggy, thinking it was just the guard. Then a man filled the doorway yelling. It was Yeppo. He screamed, spat threats, and demanded to know who'd been banging all night. My cellmate and I put our hands up. We said we didn't know. But Yeppo knew it was May. He left, promising I was now his target. That became his routine. Every morning for weeks, Yeppo would burst into our cell, threaten us, and accuse us of making noise. We tried to be silent. We stopped using the toilet at night. We tiptoed like puppets. Looking back, I wish I'd stood up to him on day 1. Maybe no one would have been hurt. 5 weeks passed. I was on my last night in Hakea before a transfer to another maximum security prison. I counted every second, desperate to leave Yeppo behind. Minutes before final lockdown, I lay on my bunk. I thought Yeppo was at the phones. I figured he'd be gone for a while. For once I felt free and reckless. I started punching the bunk frame again, hard. The sound echoed through the unit. I felt like an outlaw taking back control. Then I saw him, a shadow in the doorway. Yeppo. The room went dark. I'd been caught. He charged, fists up. I threw my hands in the air and begged him to stop. He swung. I fell back onto my bed, legs up, trying to keep him away. My feet pushed against his stomach, but he kept coming, aiming for my head. Inmates gathered outside, watching. Yeppo was breathing hard, smiling for the crowd. He wanted me to stand and fight like a man. I kept kicking him away. After nearly a minute, something in me snapped. I wasn't going down without a fight. I grabbed a plastic chair and raised it. He ripped it from my hands and smashed it. Now he was between me and my bed. He turned to the crowd, playing to them. That was my chance. I stepped in and threw a left jab. It landed flues. It landed flush on his face. He staggered. In that split second, two thoughts hit me. First, regret. He'd want revenge. Second, realization. I could hurt him. I might win. I didn't stop. I unloaded on him, punch after punch. He dropped his head and tried to grab my waist to slam me. I drove my elbow down into his back, into his kidneys, again and again. The air rushed out of him. He crumpled, curling under my bunk. I wanted to keep going. I wanted to make sure he never did this to anyone again. Other inmates pulled me off. Yapo crawled back to his cell. After giving him a severe beating, I walked out of my cell. I was real angry, adrenaline pumping. I walked down the unit corridor towards the window at the end. It's about 50 meters. I got to the window and turned around, and he was there behind me. He was bent over, crouched, holding his back over his kidneys. You could tell he was in a lot of pain. There was blood coming from his face, his mouth and nose. He wanted to go again. This time I had a lot more confidence. I wasn't scared. I stood my ground and hit him with a couple of jabs. He tried the same technique, tried to drop down and tackle me. I pulled his t-shirt over his head and hit him with uppercuts. He fell to the ground and I kept going. I went absolutely berserk. This was in front of the whole unit. A couple of 100 prisoners watching. When you have a fight in there, you have to be careful, because if people get damaged, the screws will notice and they'll investigate. They check everyone's knuckles for blood or cuts, and if you've got marks, they assume you've been fighting and you get prison charges. By the amount of damage on him, I knew they would ask questions. His nose was broken, black eyes, bloody. He was a mess. I must have punched him about 30 times with solid hits to the face. But it turned out the wardens saw it and didn't say anything. They didn't investigate. No one liked Yapo. He was known as a big bully. I went back to my cell and then about 15 of the guys Yapo used to hang around with, his crew, came up to my cell door demanding I unlock it and let them in. I was worried. I thought, this is it. They're going to get revenge on me now. Something bad's going to happen if I open this door. I opened it, and they just started giving me high fives, shaking my hand. They were saying, well done, that was awesome. They said he was a bully, and it was something they'd been waiting for someone to do. I never saw him again. Prison was full of men doing time for rape, murder, kidnapping, armed robbery. My charges, unlicensed firearms, cash, drugs, were nothing to them. I saw things I wish I hadn't. I helped clean blood off the walls after my friend Mike, in for driving offences, was beaten nearly to death over a complaint about too much tomato in his lasagna. He was airlifted to hospital. Mopping his blood off the floor, I promised myself, I'm never coming back to this hellhole.